Peace and respect to you all. Welcome to Demolished Doctrine, the beginning of the end of religions. And I've been working really hard, so I haven't had a whole lot of spare time, but we scraped a little bit together in the cold season. I'm a construction guy, so summers are just really, really busy. And we have both the gentlemen today, Big Zebra and MacTheHuman. Big Zebra, what's been going on with you?
Well, the big news for me is that my website, bigzebra.com, I can officially start writing new articles for it in about 2 days. So the sort of blinkered website's not working, website was hacked, that seemed endless is going to be solved soon.
All right, cool.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Eh,
What did
thank
you
you
have to
very
do a lot
much.
of stuff? Did you have to like just write people and complain a lot?
No, I had to find someone who was willing to do a lot of work at a low price. But she does wonderful web designing and setting you up with a company that'll do the security for you, because I've learned the hard way that if you don't, you will suffer.
And just out of curiosity, she wouldn't happen to be a zebra as well, would she?
No, she's more of a
All right.
dragon. She
Dragon.
loves dragons.
Okay. Well, that would be some interesting babies.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of the movie Shrek. Mac, what's been going on with you?
Oh, it's real good to be back with you guys again. You know, I love this. I was been waiting all day, actually. We didn't have a firm time set up until like an hour ago. So I've been very eager to hang out with you guys. So it's awesome to see you both. But I've been growing and learning, hopefully correct things. That's what's been going on with me. I'm living life, swimming down the river, sometimes swimming up against it. But
Oh, I know the feeling.
you know. But
You know me, though, I'm high on life and hooked on phonics.
Nice.
You'll
I
have
do
that
what
on
I
these
can.
long jobs. Right on.
Mm.
Now, zebra are strong swimmers like horses, yeah?
Well, we do swim. It's just that in Africa, there are all these goddamn crocodiles anywhere you need to cross or get a drink. It's a real
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm
You
sure
don't
the
have to be-
intellectual advantage you have over most zebra probably helps.
It does.
You don't have to be the
For
fastest
example, you
zebra.
let others go first.
Right.
That's what Mac was about to say.
For example, in terms of making money, Philips were the first people to release the compact disc
Mhm.
format, but everyone else made money just by licensing it. While Philips, I think it's a Dutch company, is always going downhill because they invent things. Hey, Flow State is in the room.
Yes, you are. How nice of you. Thanks for dropping by, guys. Metabun as well, and House Sonic. If House Sonic comes by, she was here too early and then left. I don't blame her.
Mm-hmm.
She'll probably dip back in.
Okay, so let's get this thing rolling. Mac, you reportedly have a topic for us, and what would that be?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got a lot on my mind, but I think always the goal is to try to challenge you, and I don't think I've ever really accomplished that goal. I don't expect to today, but I'm gonna try. And
All right.
what was on my mind for a lot of the day had to do with the nature of evidence, the inherent weakness of your claims because they're based on personal experience, and in terms of conversing with yours truly, some of them are deduced from scientific ideas that you've resolved that I haven't. That I just haven't explored those things, and I'm not really that bright. to to try to really, well, I have tried to understand the whole electric universe thing, and I get lost in the vocabulary of it. So for instance, that's it. For instance,
It is proprietary vocabulary. That's a fact.
yeah. So I don't, but I don't discount it based on that either. I just don't like, I don't have that avenue to discuss with you really. I kind of like bump into that, just like I bump into your personal experience, um, avenues of claimage, but while we were prepping for the show, you started to talk about basically destiny or predestination or God's plan for us, or like what's written for our lives. And that is also on my mind a lot, especially through tumultuous times that I've experienced personally over the last year and a half or so. Actually, over the last 10 years or so, if you want to be fair about it. I've had a tough life, and comparatively, I've had a very easy life too. I mean, when I look at some of my brothers and sisters in this planet, there's humongous suffering going on. And I know I take you here a lot, Richard, but if you could indulge me in
Sure.
not exactly the problem of evil, but specifically in terms of like the validity of your claims, the the amount of direction that reality has, um, you know, uh, it seems to be limited. There seems to be an element of chaos in it, meaninglessness, actual meaninglessness, in what's happening, around us in the environment, in the apprehendable environment. This doesn't jive with, um, with benevolent deity being in control of, of everything that's happening in people's lives, of the direction of people's lives. So, maybe I'm misunderstanding the claim, but the claim that I'm disputing is the one where you say, hey, everything in my life has brought me deliberately to this moment. And I think you mean everything when you say that. And I guess maybe I'm asking, do you just mean you? Or do you mean that that's true for everyone? That's so. If you could talk about that a little bit, and I don't know if you find
Sure.
that challenging or not, but that's what I got for you right now.
No, it's great. Okay, I don't think that time I stubbed my toe while getting on a horse. I don't think that mattered. I don't think that's part of it. So I see the random chaotic, but so long as the random chaotic doesn't change your life path, or like permanently disfigure you or something, or make you unable to perform some certain normal thing that most people can do, then it's fine. It doesn't matter that there was chaos. But it is odd to me that so much, and I mean just a really high percentage of things that have mattered, that couldn't be different, and me be lined up to, well, annoy the piss out of people by proselytizing constantly. I don't have a sibling or a parent or a child, an adult child, or a grandchild whose life I am so intrinsically part of that they just can't do without me. I don't have any which things like long-term promises that I presently would have. Whenever I make someone a promise, I also promise them that if A, B, and C happens, don't expect to see me again. Like immediately and without a warning, Yellowstone blows because there was a solar eject that came across the news, and they shut up all the cell phones and the computers go down. Don't expect me to call you. I'm not gonna be doing that. Don't expect me to drop by your house. I'm already gone. Just forget it. All the promises are over if that happens. As far as my personal biases, I mean, I'm not above personal bias in any way. So I try to, the things I say, I try to meter it against that and try to, how would you say that? I try to take that in consideration anyway. It seems there was some fancy way to say that. I can't remember right now, but I don't know what that is right this second. But I try to take that in consideration when I talk about these things. So really, I believe that I'm downplaying all of it. If that means anything, like it's in my opinion, it's much stronger than what I'm actually saying.
I get that. I buy that. That tracks. That's the sense I get from you, that you're holding back. Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. And I never get to the part of the conversation where I wouldn't have to. That never happens. We're on episode 76 right now, and we haven't gotten that far.
Right.
Right.
I something that I find interesting is that your personal testimony reminds me a bit of how religions begin, because it was personal testimony about Jesus that led to Christianity, when in fact it started out as a subset of Judaism,
which is a subset of
Zoroastrianism, or what was the Semitic religion prior to?
I don't know all the religions in Samaria.
Yeah, so
I don't. There was a bunch. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember. Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that, but it is.
But I believe you're right. It is an homage to older religions, no doubt.
Or maybe it's part of our humanity that we explore our.
I would buy that if it was non-specific enough, if it was general enough. But the specificity indicates that it's not just human nature to invent God this way, with all these super fine details. That doesn't really work for me. But I mean, man could be the God maker, but you shouldn't have, in consideration of social structures and value systems, the same God. You shouldn't have that. It should be all different gods. Hey, look who that is. Peace and respect, brother.
It's Mr.
Okay,
Pig.
so back to back to your question, Mac.
Well, let me can I focus it a little more?
Sure.
From just like bouncing off the response you've given so far. The conditions that allow you to be the person you are now, and engage in the activities that you engage in now, and not necessarily the beliefs you hold, because you could hold those beliefs and still be tied to a grandchild, say, or some other promises or something like that would prevent you from really living this kind of life where you're talking about this a lot, or at least you were, and hopefully you start again, because I love having you around. So, but if you did have that condition, you would probably still say, this is where God brought me. Like, I couldn't, if anything was different, I wouldn't be where I am now. And right. I don't think you'd be frustrated by that situation. You'd probably find a lot of joy.
No, it would be, and I think this, to your point, that I would sit there and go, wow, my life has been exactly this to bring me exactly. In fact, what I just said a few minutes ago.
Right.
I would say the same thing.
Right.
Okay, so why is that even significant? Because it's deeper than that.
Okay.
Because it's okay. How far can I go with that? All right, so it seems evident to me that I'm an old man who dreamed a dream. Okay, and everything that's within the works, and I do mean all of them, not just the Bible. Peace and respect, Von Erich. Blessings back to you, and also Sterling. Peace and respect to you. I'm an old man who dreamed a dream, and that's a consistent theme And the ones who dream that dream is not the masses. They're weird. And they've got a job. And I believe I've been assigned a job. And I've already agreed to it, no matter what the details turn out to be. My commitment is there. Okay? And I'm not certain of all the details because it doesn't say. You know? Why I was picked for this? I don't know. Because I'm a hyper literal person and that's what's needed? Because I'm old enough that I don't look like a child? And you know, worldwide, there's this minimum age before you're really considered respectable. And it happened to me at that age, and now I'm older than that. I think the reason I was given arches when I've been flat-footed my whole life is because I'll be walking. I mean, it's a literal medical miracle with no precedent. There is no corrective exercise you can do to give yourself arches. There is no arch support you can wear that will give you arches. There is no surgery you can have that will give you arches. Those things don't exist. And I mean, my medical records, my military record, people who know me, footprints by the pool, all say that I'm flat-footed, except I'm not anymore.
You were let into the military even though you were flat-footed?
They had arch supports by then.
Oh, okay. I thought there was an automatic, what do they call it, a 4F or 4H? I can't remember.
Well, I wasn't disqualified in any way, and flat-footed people weren't disqualified in the early 90s.
Oh, you know, I must have read something about that from World War I or World War II or something.
It was true back then.
Yeah,
Even in
that's
Vietnam.
true. But they also had a lot less vehicles per personnel back then.
Mm.
And people did a hell of a lot more walking.
Mm.
And the equipment was heavier because technology, stuff gets lighter. It does the same job, you know?
Right.
Like
Except tanks, they always get heavier.
Yeah, and with bigger engines. So like our full field pack was only 25 pounds.
What?
Our full field pack was only 25 pounds.
I thought what branch was this? The Air Force?
Regular Army. No, it wasn't.
Regular Army was only 25 pounds? Yes. I thought they had to be able to carry an 80-pound pack.
No, I did for fun because I could.
Okay.
But 25 pound. That's it.
I'm sorry. I've turned us off the topic onto military pack size.
That's okay.
All right.
That's okay. Nobody's actually hurt or destroyed or distracted by that. It'll be fine. Really.
All right.
Okay. So I think I'm going to be walking a lot. I literally experienced a medical miracle that happened to my physical body, and I didn't even notice it till it was all already there. And I got a good half-inch gap between my arch and the floor.
Huh.
And I'm still discovering interesting things human feet can do that I didn't know they could do.
Oh, wow.
Hand jobs? Foot jobs?
This happened when I was 51. I'm 55 now. All right. And I'm still discovering stuff. Like about 6-8 months ago, I discovered that you can stand barefoot on a curb and curl your toes down over the edge of a curb, and it feels good. And actually, put your foot and touch that curvature. I never could do that when I was flat-footed. That would have broke me.
I don't think I've ever tried that.
And I discovered about 1.5 years ago that if you have arches, you can tighten up the muscles and make your foot slightly shorter. I didn't know that either. Nobody ever mentioned that. It's only about like this much, but you can actually pull your toes straight back by arching your foot more if you have arch. So I'm just having fun playing with it because it's brand new to me, you know? Okay,
I've heard of fallen arches, but getting them to
that's
fall
what I said.
up,
There's no precedent. There is no precedent for what happened to me. There isn't one. I've never heard of this in my life. Now, I was okay being flat-footed, but I was like extremely flat-footed, where if I stepped on something, say, bigger than an inch, whether it was a rock or a marble or, just whatever, even with shoes on, if I stepped on something with the ball of my foot on my left foot, there was a bone that would pop out the bottom of my left foot.
Oh, God.
Which would just almost make me vomit, because it was just so weird. Having something like that happen, your body just goes into some kind of shock or something. And then I'd have to step on something else to push it back up into my foot.
Jesus.
I was that flat-footed. Like, I'm not joking. Flat-footed, for real. Like, they'd rather go the other way.
That's even worse.
The arch be upside down. That's what my feet would have preferred back then.
Oh my God. Your feet are even worse than President Trump's.
I don't know. I've never even seen his feet or heard anything about them.
Oh, he had bone spurs. Or at least the
that doesn't
doctor
sound
said
fun.
he did, so he avoided Vietnam.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you.
That's actually true.
That is, his dad had money? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Well, his dad was, of course, a landlord, and there was one of his landlords was a doctor, and he
One of his
made
tenants,
arrangements with the doctor so that there would be a report that Donald Trump had bone spurs.
Yeah, you can tell by what I'd said leading off from that information that I'm extremely surprised by that right now.
Yes, unsurprising information here tonight on this show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So to get back to the germane point of what you said, Mac, I think I've got a job to do.
Yeah.
So would human bias say, "Oh, my life was special, and that's what put me exactly where I am"? Well, any of us could say that, and we'd be basically correct, because you wouldn't be where you are without your past.
That's right. Everything literally did lead up to this moment.
Yes, it always does.
Yeah,
it's like it's like saying my car keys were in the last place I looked.
Right.
Of course. Why would you keep looking for something you had?
Right.
So I see your point in saying, well, this could just be confirmation bias. But what I'm saying is, so many points of my life lined up so that I could understand in the way that I do, which again, but what seems to be consistent and adherent to physics, correlates to reality, all those things, and I think that's particular. I think that's peculiar.
And that role that you've inherited, is that an okay way to put it? That track that you're on, it doesn't really kick off until Yellowstone blows, right?
Oh, like, no, everything I'm doing right now is practice for that.
Right.
Like, I live my life in practice for that. That's why I talk to Jill,
right,
or Pine Creek, or Dillahunty, and that's why I talk to, and everybody in between.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know you talked to Dillahunty from time to time.
No, I didn't say I talk regularly to Dillahunty. I mean, I have talks that have included Dillahunty.
Oh, okay.
It was supposed to be R and Raw. I was prepared for that conversation, then R and Raw had to go, and Dillahunty sat down, and I had to do it right off the cuff, and I just embarrassed the crap out of myself. It was horrible. I made the worst showing. I made and it was my first YouTube thing at all of any kind.
Oh, okay.
And
it's always going to be hard.
Just out of honesty, I've got it on my channel. I'm not hiding it.
Yeah. What did he just catch you off guard, or like what? Do you recall like what went wrong? Like what?
Yeah, I know exactly what went wrong. Master Sergeant, this was on Atheist Edge. I'd become friends through viewing and chatting through the side chat with Master Sergeant Jim Hall, who invented the channel, and but other
I remember
people.
him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
cool guy.
yeah,
I really like that guy.
Marine Master. Yeah, real
Yeah.
honest guy.
Yeah.
Open, honest. He's an atheist. He's atheist as
Yeah.
anybody could be. But he's not mad about it.
Right.
You know, he's not angry at the non-existent God, which so many atheists are. But he's not. He's just cool. And he's like, okay, let's think about this and what's most reasonable to believe right now with what we already know. And that's the way he approaches life, which is gorgeous, by the way. I got nothing bad to say about the guy. So he lets me on the show, and I was expecting Aaron Ra, but Aaron Ra had to leave. And Master Sergeant, before we went live, he says, well, what do you want to talk about? Well, I thought I was talking to Aaron Ra. So what I'd said was a variation on Darwinistic evolution theory. All right. I said that. And I said, and I was hoping he'd choose two, actually, the second option. And I shouldn't have said the Darwin thing at all. I shouldn't have said it. I should have just given him one thing and one thing only. And that is a very different view of the Bible that is Christian, but nothing you ever heard of. I should have just stayed with that. But I was stupid. And then he goes, well, let's do the evolution thing. I was like, oh crap, I shouldn't have said that. And now I've got Aaron instead of Aaron Ra, who he's a one-trick pony. He only does fossils and charts of fossils, and that's it. And I know the whole crap load about that. But Matt Dillahunty sits down, who's a lot more broad in his in things he can bring up and address. And he just started going, and I was like, you know. So I did not make a good showing at all. No. He did. I did force him to cheat though.
Okay.
Because it was a non-structured debate, and I did back him into a corner and force him to cheat, and I'll tell you how he cheated. I went down the route of intelligent information and used definitions by Werner Gett of what information is, and then I made him admit that, and the audience, which there was 10 other guys on the show or something. The room was full, and they're all atheists except for me. And I nailed him down. And he said something like, well, you can't expect evolution to have 100% of the evidence necessary to prove itself. And I said, well, don't you demand that of the Bible? And one of the other guys just bust out laughing because it's true. He expects 100% of it to be provable. And that's just not reasonable in any theory. Right. And then I backed him into a corner in information theory, and he'd agreed that science has been for 50 years and still continues to look for alien life by looking for radio waves coming from space that have any intelligent pattern. And it's called the Yeti program. And SETI program. And
I like
Yeti's
the Yeti program idea, though.
They're
well,
looking for
Yeti's a
something
program too, but that's different. That's people making Bigfoot. But the SETI program is the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. SETI is they would accept as little as a repeating numerical sequence of 4 or more digits, because that couldn't happen in nature, and we all know it. Like no quasar is going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and keep doing that. It in like Morse code or something. It's never going to happen. It's too damn complex. And he admitted that to me, and then I got him to admit that, and I saw the light come on in his eyes, and he put together, because he's not a dumb guy. No. He put together where I was going with that, where I was going to make him admit that DNA is much more complex and does include information and is a knowable code, which means it can translate information, which means there's communication there, and that all communication is between intellectual beings, and there's no other way to look at it. And there's never been any evidence of a non-intellectual creating a code. That just doesn't happen. And SETI being my example of that. And his light come on in his eyes as soon as I talked about the SETI thing, and one of the other guys in the audience like confirmed what I'd said. And he goes, well, I hope you don't mind me skipping ahead. And I went, oh, you prick. and I was right. He immediately, like, he could sense his audience, where I was going, manipulated the whole thing, ran around behind a bush, and acted like it was a victory. So, but I still think it was a horrible showing on my part. Because I could have whooped him like a red-haired stepchild on the religious stuff. But going back to the show, how much time do we have?
I don't know.
Okay, so infinite for Steve. And what about you, Mac?
I could probably kick it for another 20, 30 minutes.
All right, cool. All right, cool.
Before the children get squirrely. And
how old are your kids? I forget.
So my son is 9 and my daughter's 11. They're both approaching birthdays though, so they're kind of in a transitional place.
Wow,
they're amazing. I love they're so much fun right now. It's so much fun. They're so interactive and they're brilliant and they're apprehending knowledge and skills at a tremendous rate, and they love hanging out with me. And so we have I typically have Sundays off, and we typically do a sing-along on Sundays, so they're getting ready to do that. So
right on.
Yeah.
You guys have like a karaoke thing set up, or?
Yeah, or I'll just bust out the guitar. The children both play instruments.
Oh, that's right. You play.
Yeah.
What do they play?
My daughter's studying violin, and my son is in a percussion class. So he's right now he's doing the glockenspiel. But
what is the glockenspiel?
It's sort of a xylophone type instrument. It's a hammered.
Oh, that's right.
Bars, but it made out of steel. The bars are made out of steel, so it has sort of a bell sound to it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's great. I don't know, it's wonderful. I love.
Get your own 3-piece band growing up there. That's what you got.
Yeah, we actually did a video. It's not public, but I could share it with you guys of us singing a song in the backyard during the fall together. It's really.
You want to do it now? You don't have to, but if you want to,
I could share it. Yeah,
sure.
Let's see. Oh, sure. I mean, if you'd like to see it, I'd be happy to share it. Let's see here.
I hope we don't get copyrighted for this song.
It's not karaoke. It's all us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Richard, would it be better to share my screen or to send you the link? What would be better?
I think, well, all things being equal with internet, you can just share your screen.
Okay.
As long as you have confidence in your signal.
Yeah, it should be okay.
Okay.
All right. You could tell I do this a lot.
I want a Yeti program. We need to pick up radio signal from primates near Everest. Thanks, Steve. It was the tongue of the. It was just the tongue of the slip. I meant to say SETI.
But I like the idea of the. Oh, here we go.
I did learn a little lick today, though. Let's see if I can do it.
Crank up the volume all the way, Mac.
we'll do it all. Everything on our own. We don't need anything or anyone. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world?
Aw.
I don't quite know how to say how I feel. Those 3 words I said too much, but not enough. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Forget what we're told before we get too old. Show me a garden that's bursting into life. Let's waste time chasing cars around our heads. I need your grace to remind me to find my own. And if I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me? Just forget the world. Forget what we're told before we get too old. And show me a garden bursting into life. Come on, yes. All that I am, all that I will be, oh, ever was, is here in your perfect eyes. They're all I can see. I didn't know that line. I don't know where, confused about how as well. Just know that these things will never change for us at all. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me? Just forget the world. I think that was just fine.
There you go.
Aren't they sweet?
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, guys. Thanks for letting me share that.
Oh, and by the way, good dadding.
Yes.
That you kept dragging them back onto tempo and pitch, and then as soon as they got it, you'd fade out.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the
good dadding. Nice job.
Yeah, thanks, man. That was fun to watch. I haven't watched that in a while.
Right on.
Yeah, I am.
Well done.
Deeply blessed. Yeah.
Yes. So are they. So are they.
So, anyway, now we have less time, but
it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a treasure. You can't make something like that up.
Right. That's right. So I get the feeling, I get the overwhelming feeling, especially when I reflect on moments like that my life also has direction and purpose and meaning, kind of on a level that I'm not even aware of, kind of on a like a overwhelming level, like a my cup runneth over kind of level. Hi, Puffaluppagus.
Okay.
So, you know, I guess I guess I wouldn't see like that as like the alternate timeline with you and a grandchild or something. That wouldn't be a diminished thing, in my opinion. That wouldn't be like away from a special purpose, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Let me
Yeah.
take that to its completion and show you
Thanks.
why
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it is.
I'm struggling a little there. Thanks.
Let's say I got arches so I can walk. When would I have to walk? Because right now there's gasoline and cars and stuff. When I'd have to walk is when there aren't those things. When would that be? Well, in the United States, never till the end of the planet. Now, let's put me at the end of the planet. Here I am with an aging wife who's probably got some minor medical problems, right? Because if she's my age, she's got some minor medical problems. And I got adult children, and maybe I've got, I don't know, between 3 and 10 grandkids. And now I have to watch them go through the first half of end times and try to keep them alive and support them. And I'm talking about something that, depending on where you are and who you're around and how many people and how violent those people are and how much they freak out, which are pretty unpredictable things. Mm-hmm. It might be running from machine gun fire carrying a grandchild. It might be that. It might be just watching one of them starve to death. But I'm not sure I could maintain a positive, and I'm certain that I'm not a good enough survivalist to take care of that many folks. I am certain of that. If I can get myself to survive, I'll be ecstatic. Mm. And that's after my dad having been a literal survivalist.
Wow. And
me having a little bit of military training,
right.
You know, and my experience since then. I would not. In fact, our brother Derek, you guys remember Derek with the curly brown hair?
Yeah.
He says, Richard, when you go and walk away from this, when Yellowstone blows and you walk away, I want to go walk with you. I said, fine. When you stop because you can't do it, you're walking back. I said, I ain't carrying you. If you fall off a cliff and you break a leg, guess what? You're staying there. Because I ain't carrying you. I can't afford to carry you. And that's an adult male who's intelligent.
Fresh. Yeah.
You know?
Hello, William.
Yeah. But quite seriously, strength and honor, William. Quite seriously, and any testimony that I could give during the actual end times events that settle a person on understanding the situation so that they can accept heaven is more important than the life of my best friend. Because he's already good. Now he might die a very, very painful death. I mean, I might rappel down that cliff that he fell off and set his leg and give him a splint, but after that you're just on your own. I mean, feel bad for you, bro. But if you're walking with me, you better know what you're doing and you better be careful because I ain't carrying you. I'm not nursing you. I'm not feeding you. You got to have to feed yourself. If I can take care of me, I'll be happy. And yeah, I think it's going to be that severe. I really do. I mean, a quaking of the earth that is described in all of the beginnings of all these spiritual stories across the planet is the kind that will topple buildings. Bridges will collapse, which means every time there's a gully where there was a bridge, you're now rappelling and climbing. Hope you know how. Because you just ain't going to be able to walk across most bridges. In fact, I think very few of them will survive. Never mind messes in major cities like, I don't know, Chicago, New York,
Yeah.
Manhattan,
Super densely populated.
Los Angeles.
And tall buildings.
Those structures are not made for. They are not made for a super volcanic earthquake event. They're just not built for that.
Right.
It's really interesting that all the new stuff is being built for it, though. There's a local building. It's 3 stories. And I showed up because I'm paying attention to these things right now because of the Bible and other stuff. I happened to have been just in that neighborhood and walked by a new government building, right? That was still under construction. It was mostly just I-beams and very little else. Some concrete floors and I-beams, and that's all it was. And I walked over and looked at it, and some woman got out of her car, and she's got a colored vest on. And she walks over to me and says, "Can I help you?" I said, "Oh, you're security here, aren't you?" She goes, "Yes, I am." I said, "How long have you been here?" She says, "I've been here since day one." And from the second floor, that is the floor of the second floor, the I-beams are way too long and stick out of the building. And then there's equal-sized I-beams going down at approximately this angle. And I looked at that, and I looked at the welds, and I looked at the way it was put together and how they put extra strong reinforcement plates and then welded it after they welded it. I saw that, and I said to her, I said, "How far down do those I-beams go?" Oh, she goes, "Those go deeper than the vault." Which means at least another story down. Now, let me tell you, because I understand a little bit about steel and construction, what that would do. That's a set of 3 buffer springs. That's what the hell that is. Now, why the hell would you put that on a building? And the more I look around, all the big major government construction that's going on, they all have them.
Is that a result of the Oklahoma thing? Where the Oklahoma bombing? Because it might make the building more survivable in the event of an explosion.
Well, yes, but bombings don't shake the crust and shake the building like that. They blow out walls, they blow out glass, they kill people, sure. But you really need a shape charge. That is, you need some weight behind the explosion, behind the explosive, and up against the frame of the building to rock the building.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, because think of an explosion. All the pressure is going to go out equally in all directions.
Yes.
Right? So if you had like a 1-ton steel plate and a piece of explosives, whatever kind of explosives, and then the structure you wanted to damage, that steel plate, even if it's flat, is going to provide resistance so that more of the explosion goes toward the building. That's called packing.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
In
fact, if you don't pack your explosive, you lose like 80% of the effect.
Right.
Yeah,
because it goes everywhere.
I think the truck bomb in Oklahoma was mainly concussive force because it just kind of blew out the back of the truck, and it was a lot, so it did a lot of damage, but it didn't topple the building or anything. Let
me tell you how much that guy didn't know what he was doing. The U.S. military, some 20 years ago or more, had hard plastic bottles. They're just like milk jugs, okay? But they're shaped a certain way. And going down into the water was a tube. And that tube would just snugly fit one blasting cap. Okay? And the jar was shaped like a pyramid pointing at the blasting cap. That's how the water containment was. And you fill that up with water, and you put just a blasting cap in there, just a regular old, nothing special blasting cap in there. And then you set that facing toward, one example that I saw was a truck like the bomber's truck, like a bread truck. Okay? And you touch off that blasting cap, and all of the metal on the truck disappears.
And this is just
it just blows off.
A blasting cap did that?
1 gallon of water in a blasting cap.
Oh my
and
God.
a plastic backing that is guiding it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Water doesn't compress.
that's right. Hydraulics, man. Guided hydraulics. Extremely fast moving hydraulics.
That's
Yeah, and
crazy.
that's all it takes. Yeah, it was pretty insane. So that's the difference between packing your load and not packing your load.
Right.
How much
That's the
power
difference.
does a blasting cap have?
Just enough to touch off a piece of explosives. It's
True.
It's like a little firecracker.
it's like a really strong firecracker. About the same as maybe an M80, if you remember those.
So it would blow off your fingertips.
Yeah.
Oh, plastic cap, yeah, it'll blow off a finger, sure.
Okay. Well, I'll be careful not to handle them.
And they have a metal casing on them, a steel casing on them to increase the pressure inside, so it translates better. Yeah.
Man.
So imagine like probably a 222 or maybe a 30-06, and instead of touching it off, by primer, that imagine that it was welded, and you touched off that amount of powder. How much pressure release there would be?
Right.
It's a blasting cap is something like that.
So you think government buildings are being reinforced because of the threat of a Yellowstone caldera?
Well, I
eruption?
specifically, I mean, within my biases, yeah, I think that. Could I show that that's why they're doing it? No, I couldn't show that.
Oh.
But it'd be a damn good reason to do something like drive an I-beam, 16-inch by 10-inch I-beam, 3 of them 30 feet down into the ground, and attach it to the bottom of the second floor.
Yeah,
Be a damn good reason to do it.
It's pretty excessive. That's
The
Like they cut them at I think probably about a 15-degree angle at the ends, and put them together to get that angle, and they welded all of that I-beam, and then they made steel plates to fit in that shape and welded those too.
Oh wow.
Like they weren't playing.
no.
It's not decorative.
Right.
What's the building for?
I don't know. It's a brand new government building in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I don't know what it's going to be for.
I looked
Sometimes they're general. You have
It's nothing. It's an
so and so
administrative
on this
complex.
floor. Pardon me?
It's an administrative complex if it's the right one. I just looked up new government buildings in Santa Fe, and they just built this very generic government building in Santa Fe. Studio Southwest Architects is the designer, and it's a sturdy looking building. I mean, you can't see the I-beams and stuff. It's all covered up now, but
Right.
well,
all 3 floors were made with 16-inch by 10-inch I-beams.
it just looks like a hefty building.
It is.
like it's weighty.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Maybe it's part of a rig designed to receive signals from outer space.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying that's impossible.
We'll pick up the alien signal.
But now next conversation is going to be the silver tips on pyramids and how those induce electricity from outer space and stuff. So
that would be great.
I'm really not in it.
The aliens aren't going to be subtle when they're ready for us to see them. There's not going to be
he cometh
search.
with clouds, and every eye will see.
Yeah.
So apparently, if you have consciousness and the ability to see, you're going to see.
Hey guys, I got to sign off on that's a good spot.
Right on.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank you immensely. Peace and respect to you both and everyone in the side chat. Thanks for dropping by. Please vote on the video before you go. That's appreciated, because you ain't coming back to watch this. That ain't gonna happen. No.
I might watch it through.
It was great
It's
seeing
not
you both
technically
again.
difficult enough to get a review. No one's gonna come back and watch it again. That's just not gonna happen.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah. Peace and respect, Kevin. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks again, Mac and Zebra. Thank you guys so much. I want to do more of these.
Yeah,
And I'm going to have my schedule has loosened up a little bit. I spread out some of the new promises, and I'm wrapping up the old ones.
Halsey finally came back. Hey, Halsey.
Yeah, there you go. Just in time
See,
for us to leave.
That woman has perfect timing.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, she said hello. She said hello first. Then she shows up as it's ending. You don't get better than that. You don't. You don't have to
Yeah.
actually watch it. It looks like you were there the whole time.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, boys. I really, really appreciate it. Have a great night.
Thank you.
It's, my
Thank you, Mac.
Yeah, my bucket's all full now. Thanks.
All right.
Last words, Steve. Thoughts,
No.
ideas. Go on as long as you
I
want.
got nothing. I got a whole lot of nothing.
You got a whole bunch of nothing. Well,
Yes.
Well, may your stripes stay brilliant and straight.
Thank you. And may your beard grow even more luxurious.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Steve. Appreciate you.
All righty. Hope to do this again soon.
All right, guys, that's it for this time. Want to do more of these. Never really wanted to quit doing them. But I made too many promises to too many people, and I kept them. But as I say, those are starting to slow down. So perhaps we'll see each other a little bit more often in the near future. Thanks, everybody who came by. If I can remember everybody, I'll probably miss somebody. Halshonic, Kevin, Metabun, of course, Steve and Mac. Thank you guys so much. I guess I could just scroll through it, right? Odine, yeah, Von Erich. Thank you guys all very, very much, Sterling. Until next time, peace and respect to you. And try to spoil the ones you love in ways that you can afford. Doesn't have to be monetarily. It could be sitting beside them and just holding their hand. Till next time.